So this is what we have going on here in New York State, all up and down the river. Both of the rivers, we have the Susquehanna and the Delaware that go through the counties of Broome, Delaware, Otsego. See all the dead branches at the top? That's how it starts. And then they just die all the way down. This is between the tent caterpillars and the pollution from the flood of 2006. That Pataki was here, was in the paper, gave loads of money, but they did nothing. All sorts of money to put up levees and whatnot to prevent flooding again. Not that the flood of 2006 necessarily is going to happen again anytime soon. That was a rare event, but it's common to flood. And ever since COVID, all these counties that are supposed to be doing stuff with all this funding they get, grants, federal money, state aid, it's not happening. People are dropping like flies around here. Into poverty. Then into homelessness. These counties are overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. There's plans put into place for all this, but they're not following the plan. And this, quite frankly, is nothing new. I used to work for Delaware Opportunities, for Head Start. I was the family service worker. There were families that were completely reportable, and I was prevented from reporting. I was told no. But then other families that just because someone didn't like them, they would call and create all sorts of problems. When I started working for Head Start, in fact, and this is supposed to be hush-hush, they threaten you with confidentiality. Well, you know what? Fuck you and your confidentiality. You guys are a bunch of goddamn liars. You talk about everybody behind their backs constantly. The week I started was right after Christmas vacation, and the Sydney Head Start has 2 centers. It did then. The man that was the teacher's aide for the upstairs classroom, I don't know his name. If I did, I'd tell you, because I don't give a shit anymore. He worked upstairs with Rose Merwin. He was fired over that weekend for sexual abuse of children. But I was prevented from saying anything because I was threatened with confidentiality. Now, in the downstairs classroom was Barb Wally, who my daughter, Ashley Banks, was in. Barb Wally, in fact, wasn't fired. She was just encouraged to leave and then went ahead and got substitute teacher positions all over in the area because she was abusing children. She was turned in by her teacher's aide, Tammy Dunn. Now, I was only the family service worker, and she was the teacher of my daughter, and I couldn't believe anything like that happened. So I called Linda Eskow, and I said, why is Tammy Dunn talking about all of Barb's business, what she's claiming, with all the doors wide open for everyone in the Civic Center to hear? I didn't believe it. I stuck up for Barb, although I found out later she abused my daughter too. Because quite often kids don't tell things right away. And you're told by social services, don't talk to your kids about things. They're to keep it all secret. Talk to them. Ask your kids what's going on. Get involved in their lives. Ask them. Find out who their teachers are. Even when you think you know what's going on, you don't. Trust me. You know what I got for speaking up about stuff? Because I'm just that kind of person. Shunned. Just like Tammy Dunn when she spoke up. Now, Rose Merwin, she moved right up the ladder. She just started stomping on everybody, turning everybody in, tattling on everybody. There was a big, huge thing with pranks that went all over the Civic Center. That Barb, Rose, the teachers' aides and whatnot all participated in with Ray Baker, who was the janitor for the Civic Center at the time. He's now the mayor of Walton. Or excuse me, the mayor of Sydney. Sorry. And they would participate in pranks on each other. There was a person that worked across the hall from the downstairs classroom for the Sydney Head Start who worked at senior meals, who was, I don't even know the PC term to call this stuff anymore. She was slow. She had issues. And they would go over, there was labels on all of the closet doors for her to help prepare the food. And they'd switch all those labels around on her. I don't know how many times they did that. They thought it was great. Now, if they wanted to play pranks on each other, that's one thing. But to pick on someone like that, it's disgusting. And I said something about that. Nothing happened. Nobody cared. But she's a throwaway person, right? I mean, it's Delaware County. That's how people are. Did you see in the paper how they're vandalizing the church because they have the rainbow flag up in Walton? This is how these people are. They're disgusting. Speak up. Say something. Head Start needs to get shut down. That's only the things that happened in one center. One. And those are only a few examples. Shut it down. Get these kids in UPK. Not that the schools are much better in this area. My son Joseph was bullied from day one. And you know what the school did about it? Nothing. I don't know how many teachers have been arrested in Walton. Well, at the very least, encouraged to quit, to resign, to find another job. Isn't that what they do? They don't want to sully the reputation of a professional, especially when it's just kids involved. They'll just learn to deal with it, right? Send them on over to mental health so mental health can spread around all their business, talk about their parents, blame the parents. There's a problem in Delaware County. People need to start speaking up. Do not go to social services for anything. Do not go to Delaware Opportunities for anything. They do not get funding unless they pick your family apart. That's a fact. If everybody's great and wonderful and doing fine, then they get no money. And they're not going to turn in the families that they're friends with. Half of them are doing drugs with everybody, drinking with everybody, friends behind the scenes. They're not going to turn in those people. They're going to turn in the people that they don't like gay people, mentally ill people, mentally retarded people. If you're offended by me calling it that, then correct me in the comments. These are the people